Welcome to another episode of Recharge, the podcast where we bring you real stories, real strategies, and real conversations from the people that make the REMAX network so special. My name is Kaylee Wilkinson, and I am joined by my co-host, Ashley Dane. Whether you're listening on your drive in between appointments, watching on YouTube or Spotify, or simply tuning in from your office, we're glad you're here. Today, we are joined by someone who truly embodies what it means to be a REMAX professional. He's built an impressive real estate career, has served his local association in multiple leadership roles, is a champion for the regional balloon events team, and has received the most meaningful honor in our region, the REMAX Spirit Award. So Jeff Coates from REMAX of Midland, welcome to Recharge.
Thanks for having me here.
Welcome, Jeff.
I must say, before we start, I bumped into you at the charity golf outing not too long ago.
Yes.
And we playfully talked about the podcast.
We did.
And I mentioned something along the lines of, would you be interested in sitting down and chatting? And you said, yeah, I think so.
I'm up for anything once, at least.
Yeah, and I think throughout the years, that's kind of how I've gotten to know you, is like you are a yes man. You come to our events. You are a presence that everybody knows and respects. And I look forward to diving deeper into your story and getting to know you even further. So thank you for being here.
Absolutely.
So let's start at the beginning. Before real estate entered your life, who was Jeff Coates?
I was a unemployed, recently married, had a mortgage payment that needed to get paid. Lived in Midland at the time, have pretty much my entire life. So was kind of searching for that next career, in my late 20s.
Okay. And who are you outside of real estate?
I enjoy a lot of sports. My wife has to put up with watching anything that's current and live. But I just have a good time. Very down to earth. Just have a good time type of guy.
Yeah. All right.
Up for anything.
Well, it fits the bill because that's how I know you as well. So was real estate always part of your plan, or did you kind of stumble upon it?
Kind of both. It definitely wasn't, I thought, a career choice. But growing up, Ashley knows this. I love Legos.
We spent some good quality time Lego building together, and I am not ashamed.
I'm not shocked.
In Houston, instead of going to some speakers, we built some cityscapes. Okay, between lunch break.
There you go.
So that my parents, very blue collar. My parents had rentals. They probably had 4 or 5 doors that they had. And then I was in construction management. I have a degree in architecture, so very much a lot of stuff real estate adjacent, where some of those tools would be helpful in selling real estate.
Many of the building blocks.
Yeah.
Many of the building blocks. So that's kind of, I don't remember what, when I was searching for that next job, of was like, I should probably get into real estate.
Yeah.
But I did. So.
Okay. And what was that first year of real estate like for you? Was it everything that you were hoping and dreaming it would be?
It was rough. So I started middle of the year. So let's say that first 6 months, there was not many sales that was coming in. So at the time, it was that December timeframe when registrations coming for conference, and my broker was like, "Are you going?" I'm like, I didn't make any money this year, so probably not. And he's like, I got you. So went to my first conference. I think it was in Grand Rapids that year. And I really got to see kind of what all REMAX was about. And then kind of after that, it started to snowball a little bit. That first full year, 15, 16 closings for a whopping $2 million in volume. But it paid the bills. I made a little bit of money after the tax man. So
Well, and look at all the practice and knowledge you got from those deals, right?
it is. And I have a spreadsheet of every single sale that I've done. And
of course you do.
Of course I do. And where I got it and all that. But looking back is, some of those actually my very first deal has turned into 5 or 6 additional clients. And one of them, very good friends. My wife was actually just asked to be in their wedding.
Oh, amazing.
I wouldn't have met him ever if it wasn't for real estate.
What a full circle moment.
I sell him a house and my wife gets asked to be in the wedding. So
That's awesome. So what year was your first year in real estate? Do you remember?
I think 2015 was my half year, and then 16 was my first full year in real estate.
So you're approaching, you've hit 10 years.
Yeah, I think 11, 12 years in there somewhere.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
And have you always been with REMAX of Midland, or were you bouncing around there?
I started with REMAX of Midland. I really did not interview with anyone else at the time. There was another agent that had joined REMAX of Midland 2 or 3 years prior, and he actually was my T-ball coach. So I had a relationship with him. His daughter was in the same grade as me. His son was, on a few of my baseball teams. So I knew him. So I job shadowed him. Shout out Tony.
Yes.
And, he's always been like a little father figure to me at times. And in the office, if I need to be set straight, Tony does that. So
he's great at that.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, he's very practical. So do you remember a moment when you thought this could actually be my career? And I'm going to do it. I'm going to take off here.
Yeah. So in that first or second year, somebody that I had hired as a financial advisor actually hired me to sell their house. I only got that side. They used someone else locally to purchase their new house, bigger sale. But I knew he was very involved in the community. He knew a lot of realtors, but he still chose me to sell his house very early on. And I'm like, okay, if he thinks I can do it, I think I can do it. And the other agent that they used to buy their house, she congratulated me, when I sold their house, because, it was kind of when you're the agent that does the buy and sell, you talk to yourself. When you got another agent there's just another person that you have to talk to.
Well, especially if something's going to be contingent on the other, you really want the agent on the other side of that to know what they're doing.
Yeah. So, and she was a very well-respected agent, top 10 producer. She actually had the house listed that me and my wife currently live in. So kind of went full circle. So once, she said I did a good job and all that, it was kind of like, okay. Yeah. Let's see how far this can go.
What you needed to hear.
Yes.
I like that.
Some respect. So looking back now, what would today's Jeff tell rookie Jeff back in the day?
Ooh, just keep grinding. I did a lot of open houses, a lot of floor time. And that's how I built my business to begin with. A lot of hours of no phone calls and scouring YouTube for training videos. I lean a lot on social media at that time. Facebook groups, there's a million of those real estate groups out there with different tips and tricks and stuff. Like, I just watched a lot of what other people were doing. Midland's a pretty small town, so all the new trends are usually a year or two behind coming to Midland. So kind of trying to get on the forefront of a lot of that stuff while I was kind of waiting for business.
Earning the business, right?
The business.
Yeah. Absolutely. So now that we know we have Tony to thank for bringing you into this REMAX of Midland world originally, what was it about the office that made it feel right?
The office, I was very naive on a lot of things. We had agents that had the same last name but weren't married, used to be. We had agents that have different last names that were married. I was lost. Coming from a world of HR, real estate offices don't have HR. So it was very different. But we had a lot of agents that had 20, 25 years plus in the business, built great brands, all completely different ways. And I just sat there and picked up the scraps that they didn't want to deal with anymore. Did their open houses, when they needed it. So what I saw was being able to learn from each one of those agents that, did the platinum level business every single year at that time. So
yeah.
I think you were saying that you were naive in your first couple years, and I think that worked to your benefit from hearing you. Like, you absorbed what other people were doing, essentially learned the business through other people, and copied and pasted it to your interpretation of what they were doing. And
yeah, I did. I tried to take a little bit from each one, the positives from each one, and tried to kind of emulate that myself.
Yeah.
Just being genuine, being yourself.
And I think that's what makes real estate so unique, is like you can do it your way, interpreting other people's way of doing it that came before you, and make it your own. And certainly anybody can enter the business that passes the exam, but to really survive and thrive, you got to put in the hard work, and you got to do it yourself, and you got to be a self-starter. And I think that's
the self-starter that you mentioned. That's a big thing in real estate. You're really the only boss that you gotta have to report to, and be able to wake up on certain days when you had a rough day the day before, get back on the phone calls and going out to the networking events in town. It's tough to do that when you don't see the results right away.
Agreed.
Which is true. So every office develops its own culture. I happen to love and adore the REMAX of Midland group. You are very lively and engaging. I come to your office and there's so many people physically present in that office. And I think what you were just saying was a testament to the value there. When you are physically present in the office with top producers, seeing what they're doing, you kind of absorb it through osmosis, try some of those things in your own business, which is neat. But from a standpoint of, you have an office that's doing Halloween parades, you've got food trucks, you're just Jennifer and Dan and Christina, everybody's really, really involved and engaged and present. How does that create an environment that sustains you from the professional level, but also just revives you from a psychological level?
It gives you an office that you want to visit.
Yeah.
When you go in and 3/4 of the doors are closed and locked and lights are off, you're like, why am I here? But when you see other agents in there working, making the phone calls, networking with each other, just yesterday I have an upcoming listing that's just kind of going to be hard to price. And Tracy right next to me, talking about osmosis, we're going between our doors because I can hear her conversation, she can hear mine. Just asking, hey, what are you seeing in the market? It's going to help dictate, what the price on this is. So with Dan, Christina, and Jennifer all creating a good culture, having events that are fun, events that are learning. It makes people want to be there, makes people want to succeed. And, you want to do a little bit better than the person next to you. So
that's the competition.
It's the competition, yes.
Yeah, that's fantastic. How would you describe your office without the typical buzzwords? And I know you could come up with some creative words for some of the shenanigans that happen in your office, but how would you describe it?
We did some filming in our office, and the screenwriters, the creative side of it, they really thought our office was like the sitcom The Office, because we've got Dan being Steve Carell, and we just had so many different personalities, just like The Office does. So our office just kind of feels like a sitcom. The sitcom writers don't want 5 of the same type of personalities. Yeah. So our office is a lot of different personalities. So some mesh together really well, some don't. But that's kind of how I think our office is.
And the epicenter of professionals.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Very professional.
Right. I want to talk about your leadership within your association. So you've been serving in one way or another throughout the years, right? What inspired you to get involved beyond selling houses and just being a standard real estate agent? Why get involved?
So first of all, REMAX of Midland has been very supportive with our local board. So there's been a great history of presidents, but just attendance of pretty much every single event that the Midland Board of Realtors runs. when I see the attendance, we've got 65% of our office at least at every single thing. And so the very first thing that got me involved with the board was joining the committee. Very strategic on the one committee that I selected, and that was the forms committee. Very boring, but at the time, we still did a lot of paper contracts in front of clients. And I was like, I really want to know this contract in and out and how it affects my client's transaction. And so the first year or two in the committee, I didn't contribute a whole lot. I was pretty green. I was like, I've been doing that wrong the entire time. And so it just kind of evolved. After a few years, I became a co-chair, and then it was a chair. And of course, on top of this, I was attending all the different continuing education they do, social events and stuff like this. So I got a phone call from our association executive, and she's like, our nomination committee, who gets together each fall to select our new board of directors. She's like, you didn't turn in an application, but you were kind of nominated for one. Would you want to do it? I'm like, okay. And our board is comprised of 2 or 3 people as 1-year directors, and then 3 people as 3-year directors, and it's staggered one each year. Excuse me. And then our presidency track of secretary treasurer is one position, vice president, president, and then past president. So that fits our board. So my first one was just a simple 1-year director, which is kind of the normal for someone that hasn't been on the board of directors before. I was actually, it was a broker. I found out later it was a broker at another brokerage that nominated me.
That's such an honor.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
They always try to recruit me, so they have always thought very highly of me.
That's
so it was nice to hear that. So that started kind of my track into the leadership within the brokerage or the board. And then the more I'm into it, the more I realize how important the local association is to our business, and then tying into Michigan Realtors, and then further into the NAR, National Association of Realtors. So it's kind of how I got started 3 minutes later.
But I mean, you have evolved within those years, and you're president now. So congratulations on your presidency.
It's almost over.
That's okay. Still counts.
It still counts. It's like senioritis. I'm like, all right, what did I just show up?
Well, I think you do more than that.
The summertime we take off. We don't really meet June, July, August. We meet at the end of August. So we kind of have a lull during the summer where we're doing some of our social events, but the board's really not meeting if we don't have to. So,
well, you're still the president. I'm
still the president.
Saying,
yeah.
Kudos to you.
Thank you.
But how have these leadership roles challenged you personally and professionally?
It's different when you're on the board of directors because you're not representing yourself. You're not representing your brokerage. You're representing the association of a whole. So our association has roughly 210 primary members. And then we have some affiliates and MLS only members. So when we're sitting down and meeting and and having discussions, and we have to think of, all right, not how this affects me. It's going to be how does it affect everyone, and is it for the benefit of the entire association? So it makes me look kind of 360 at every single issue that we have, and thankfully. We didn't have a Sitzer-Burnett settlement. We didn't have to change lockboxes or MLSs. So
no COVID. You got an easy year, friend.
Very lucky I got an easy year this year. So
all these past presidents are going, what the heck? Summer's off.
It's like a curse for some of them. Yeah. So I got let off pretty easy.
That's great.
Knock on wood. Please, no surprises.
Still time.
No surprises. No.
So what is something that you learned about the industry from serving on the board that you wouldn't have learned otherwise?
When people say, or when people complain about something, they're like, well, how does this change? Well, I figured out how things change is you have to get involved and, have a, very, very highly educated motivation behind it. It can't be for self business. It's got to be for business as a whole. So it's really starting to look at, all right, when I change this on a form, how is this going to affect the business? And very easily you can, when it really shifted, when COVID happened, it became a very hot seller's market. And we start looking at forms, and we wanted to start adding all these clauses that were very seller friendly. And we're like, all right, what's going to happen when it market shifts? And then we got to take out everything that we just put in there. So it's very much, you got to look long term. Is this for the benefit of the whole membership? So that's kind of what I've learned, is to slow down sometimes and really think things through.
Yeah. And to that point, I mean, leadership isn't always glamorous, right?
No, it's not.
Like, you see the good, the bad, the ugly, everything in between. Has there been a lesson that has really stretched you?
When I, got sworn in as president, they don't then hand you a booklet of, here's your job. So it's very much do what you think is right. And obviously I have, 2 of the past 3 presidents have actually been from our office. So it's nice to be able to go into their office and, shut the door and be like, all right, so what'd you do, when the settlement came through, and, how did you communicate to the membership? And kind of backtracking what the question was again here.
You're learning a lot, right?
Yes.
On the fly.
Yep.
There's challenges there. Not everything goes as expected. It is what it is sometimes, right?
Yeah,
like
you just have
learn from it.
To roll with, what you make of the job.
Yeah.
I've tried to do a lot of outreach to new members to involve them in the board as early as possible. Pinpoint some brokerages that don't have a lot of interaction with the board, or maybe sour interactions with the board in the past, and try to mend those. I can only do so much, but try to get more involvement, because really, as a stronger association, just makes stronger realtors, whether it's more education, more outreach to the community. We have a great association executive that makes sure that we're forefront and doing a lot of great things.
I can really appreciate what you're saying there, because the professionals that are in this industry work so hard. Many of them also have lots of opinions on how the industry should be practiced, how the business should be done, how it shouldn't be done. And there is a commitment of your time and your life when you say, I care about how this industry is being handled. I'm going to commit my time to have my voice be present in these decisions, in these conversations, to help guide that, versus some of the others that just have opinions, loud opinions, and they lean more towards criticism rather than action. And when you really want to make a change, if you truly care about it, take the time out of your own personal life to participate, attend the meetings, be aware of what those conversations are in the board minutes, and get on the board yourself.
Yeah, as a byproduct of being on the board, not only do we have REMAX conferences, Michigan realtors have great conferences. And being on the board kind of gives you a little bit of a in with some people when you want to talk to people. So having that opportunity at all these conferences to talk to, you just had the CEO of Michigan Realtors here. We were at a Lugnuts game it would be 2 springs ago. We were chatting about baseball in the suite that we had, and would not be an opportunity if I was not on the board. So
making things happen.
Things happen.
Fun. So you, Jeff, were honored with the REMAX Spirit Award. And for those of you that aren't familiar with this level of award, it's the highest honor that a REMAX associate can get for the whole state. We only award one annually. And you were a very recent recipient of this. What went through your mind when your name was announced that evening?
It was a huge surprise. And I figured out why my broker, Dan, was trying to get me to the conference the entire time.
Thank you, Dan, for the arm ringing. Yes.
we were surprised we were paying attention because it was very late in the night and we had a very fun table 25. You know who you are.
Shout out to 25.
I know why you guys put us in the back corner. So, you know, you listen to the prefaces to all these awards and what everyone's done. And, you know, sometimes you listen to help the next time you apply for that loan. Obviously, that's not a loan, award. But this isn't one you apply for. So you kind of start listening, all right, this, you know, office admin does this in their office. How can we do that for our office? So that's what I was listening for. And, you know, they started with Platinum Club and Hall of Fame. And I'm like, okay, that's half this room, you know. All right, then it got to...
Half the room would love to be Platinum Club, Jeff.
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh, I'm sure half the room there has probably done it at some point. So then it got to the board president. I'm like, oh, wow. There's probably 2 or 3, you know, on average, REMAX associates that are board presidents each year. I'm like, and then it really got into the balloon program. And I'm like, uh-oh, I better...
Heart starts pounding.
Better straighten up. So, and then I realized Christina was already filming me. So I watch that video actually frequently because when I have a difficult transaction or something like that, I just want that little reminder of, you know, what everything's, you know, what the goal at the end sometimes is you know.
I just got chills.
Yeah.
I did too. I tried not to cry.
But you are appreciated beyond just REMAX of Midland. Like, you are appreciated throughout our region, throughout our state. You are highly respected and very much deserving of that award.
Yes.
So
it was a very surprising. It was great to see both of you up on the stage.
Yes.
So it didn't fall. So no, it was great.
Good.
Now, awards like that, they don't happen without someone being dedicated to the profession and consistent actions and really trying to do more in their business than just what helps them personally. It's a recognition of far broader impact. What did it mean to you personally?
Personally, it just was kind of all right, this was step 1 of, you know, my career. 12 years in, and was able to reach that. It was just kind of a starting to build of a legacy. You know, what's next for me? Is it, you know, something with REMAX of Michigan? Is it something with, you know, furthering, you know, the leadership within Michigan Realtors? I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of a building block to kind of jump off of now at this point.
That's so fantastic.
So,
when you look around the REMAX community, what qualities do you admire most in the agents and leaders?
everyone is genuine. You know, when we were at the golf outing, you have a lot of different characters having a good time.
We do.
But it really doesn't stop at just the golf outing. It's at all the conferences. Yeah, we're very professional for 4, 5, 6 hours during the day. But then everyone just has fun and very, everyone networks. Everyone, you know, doesn't have their nose up and their chest out. And the sales kind of go out the question. Everyone's willing to sit down and see how life's going.
I do love that about our network of agents. Like, yes, we have top performers from every corner of the state, but they're so open and sharing with each other and network and help lift everybody up and share ideas.
Yeah, you couldn't pick out the top performers out of lineup. You would be like, picking the wrong people out of a lineup, you know, for who does the most business.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So let's switch gears to one of my favorite topics, and you know where I'm headed here, the REMAX of Michigan Balloon Events Program.
Yep.
You're a big advocate for it. You love it.
I love it. Yep.
Yeah, you're very involved. That is no secret, right? Man, we could go off on a tangent here, but can you take me back to when you first saw the balloon and what your reaction was?
So it's actually going to start not 12 years ago, but so Midland has the Midland Balloon Festival. It's changed over years. It was sponsored solely by REMAX. Now it's kind of morphed into one of our local events. But when I was 10 or 12 years old, my very good childhood friend, his family was connected with a balloon pilot out of, I think it was Chicago area. So every balloon fest, when they would come in, you know, for a few years there, I would be out on the field, pulling ropes and probably packing the bags. I couldn't drive, so wasn't chasing, didn't know Midland very well. So that was really the first introduction to balloons. And then it disappeared for 15 years through high school, college, first career. But then once I got to REMAX, and then it just kind of it clicked. And I remember the good times of helping out on the fields, of the Midland County Fairgrounds. So
yeah.
And
here you are many years later as an adult doing the same rope pulling,
doing
packing.
the same thing.
Yeah.
Getting asked when I'm getting my balloons license. It's never happening.
Just cut that right off, huh?
Yep. Dennis is doing a good job.
and Jody, they both do a great job tag teaming the whole program. So, but to that point, you've earned something pretty special. It's the Key to the Balloon Award, which is received by one REMAX associate every year and handpicked by the pilots.
Yes.
So very cool award. Can you explain what that represents and how it feels to receive it?
It was a very surprising. It was probably another award that I didn't know existed. So the award's given at the annual conference, but it's at the broker owners meeting.
It is.
So it's not. I think that should be changed. I think that should be during the big ceremony.
Good suggestion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Give Dennis some time on the microphone and Jody.
Oh, dear.
So I wasn't at the meeting. And then my broker would get a hospitality suite for, we had 10, 12, 15 agents that year and spouses. And we went up there and Dennis was hanging around with us, which is nothing surprising. He knows 2/3 of our agents by name. And we were just hanging up there. And all of a sudden, Dan or Dennis just kind of quiets the room and starts talking. And we figured Dan was going on a Dan rant or something that he normally does.
That's what it's called, a Dan rant?
A Dan rant, yes.
Oh, I'm going to keep that in my back pocket.
Dan rant.
So, and then that's when they bestowed me this award. And I was very honored. Very much a yes man when it comes to the balloon.
Mm-hmm.
Dennis needs anything. Dennis knows he does not need help or a crew in Midland. Mm-hmm. He knows there's not just me, but all the other agents in the office that are willing to meet up at 8:00 on a Saturday to fly the balloon. So
yeah, it's just a heartwarming moment when you receive that, where it's like you're doing something fun for you, like you do it anyways.
Yeah,
but just see the respect given back to you in that way is something unique.
Yeah, the balloon, the group, the community, they're very tight-knit. They all know each other. When you're out in that field, if you're missing a couple of your crew members, they'll jump over and jump on the lines, if you need it. So it's kind of why wouldn't I do that if everyone else is doing it?
Right.
So
right.
It's a very tight-knit community where everyone's there to, it's not for yourself to put up the balloon. You see it hundreds of times. It's for the community that's out there to watch you guys.
Yeah, and that reaction never gets old from
young
young children to older adults. Like everybody is amazed at when they see that big balloon come to life.
Yeah, especially even after 30, 40 years with the balloon in Midland. It's still a huge hit.
That's right. So do you have a favorite balloon memory or event that always makes you smile?
We do a lot of school programs. It's always great to see, some students really latch on to it, and some are just happy not to be in the classroom. But we had one student that came to our event. Our event now is called River Days, where a couple rivers come together, they flood, and so I think we just landed from one of the competition flights, and a kid and his dad comes up, and this kid knew more than almost Dennis did about the balloons and the envelopes and all this. And Dennis gave him one of those little squishies, and then he came back a couple of days later, and he had some more facts. So just to see a kid that was maybe 5 or 6 years old just have that joy and energy about a balloon, that was probably my favorite singular of moment. Probably my favorite event is the night glow. It's just an awesome scene to see all the balloons up in the air in the dark sky and then just light up.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to ask, how long ago was the 5-year-old that loved the balloons?
I would probably say 3 to 4 years. So pretty recent.
Well, pretty recent, but still like a number of interactions that you have with random people throughout your day over the course of a week, a month, a year, and you're still thinking about that one 3 or 4 years later.
Yep.
Yeah. There's so much impact there. It just brings joy.
Yeah, and that's the value of the balloon program, right? It's a marketing tool, but when you can get somebody face to face with it and with you in your office and your agents and collaborate on a community event like that, that's going to have more impact than a radio ad or a billboard or, something that is a core memory that you're still talking about years down the road. And that kid is still talking about it years down the road. And every time that Midland Balloon Fest, the River Days goes off, he's recapping that memory again.
So
the definition of community.
Yes.
So you kind of brought up marketing.
Yes.
So every time we have a flight, we kind of know where we're taking off from and where our end goal is. So when I'm not driving, I will start texting my clients where I know that balloon's probably either going to go over their house or land near their house, and be like, hey, it's early. Balloon's going to be landing if, Tammy, I'm trying blanking of some kids' names, but if they want to come, hang out by the balloon real close, we're going to be landing here possibly, or I'll throw them. There's a tracking app that Dennis has, so I usually give it to my wife when we're out, my mom because she chases it sometimes too. But then I'll send that to clients as well, so they kind of know where the balloon's at and where to look for it.
That's a great idea.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, stealing that one. That was awesome. Yes. So I think maybe my favorite part of this entire conversation we've had thus far is when you were talking about being nominated for the board, like your very first 1-year term, when you were saying that your director had reached out, your AH reached out and was like, hey, you didn't apply, but you were nominated. In my mind, I'm like, oh, I wonder who sabotaged him from his office, because that is like, that's par for the course for your team. Yeah. But to find out that it actually came from another broker at another office is just, it's so representative of who you are. I don't even know if I've told you this, but when I'm out, I'm talking to agents and brokers all over the state, Upper Peninsula, Lower Peninsula. They'll just be like, oh yeah, I know a REMAX agent from this area. I know a REMAX agent from this area. Multiple times, many times, people are like, oh yeah. There's this guy, Jeff Coates from Midland. He's such a great guy. He's a great REMAX agent. And I'm like, yes, he is. I couldn't agree with you more. But when you think about your career and the principles and the pillars that have guided your decisions, why do you do business the way that you do, in a way that has earned so much respect from the people that work with you?
So when I got into real estate, my parents were scared. They were like, that's definitely not you. They were worried, realtors, salespeople have, a bad reputation. They were worried that it would change me. But I made sure that I stayed genuine to myself. I had some integrity. I like to think, there's a saying I like to say, I'd rather sleep well at night than sleep in silk sheets.
Yeah.
I'd rather, have some morals, be, not just beat myself up for making the wrong decision just so, I can earn a paycheck.
Yeah.
So keeping true to myself, I've got a last name. Both my parents live in town. They're very, my mom worked in the schools. And so a lot of times when we go to school programs, they're like, is Mrs. Coates your mom? I'm like, yeah. I know I can't do anything wrong then. So, which is par for the course because she worked in the schools 1 grade ahead of me each year. She was one-on-one with a special needs student who was a grade ahead of me. So she was always in that classroom next to me. So I couldn't,
couldn't be a bad student.
I couldn't be a bad student.
No?
Obviously, all the teachers knew my mom. So, no, it was kind of, staying in line.
Yeah.
Do you have any real estate examples or experiences or stories where there was one of those ethical challenges you could have gone right and you chose to stay on the path that was better for, maybe a tougher decision, but the right decision? Is there anything that stands out to you across your career?
I mean, I brought it up in light, but flooding in Midland is very much a predominant issue that people have on their minds a lot. So we always have, is this an area that floods a lot? And obviously you can have, flood zones, mapped out. But, that's where you really start looking at it. Is this in the best interest of, this buyer, of purchasing in an area that could potentially flood? And then obviously the questions for your sellers on your seller's disclosure of, did your house ever have water? So that's kind of the biggest dilemma sometimes of do the right thing, make sure you're putting truthfully what happened.
Well, and that's just what we hope for and dream of, that the reason that a consumer wants to work with a REMAX agent is because they know that the professional guidance and expertise that they're going to be getting is in that client's best interest, that there's knowledge behind there's local wisdom, there's understanding what that flood zone means and what it actually means when you've lived there your entire life.
Of all documents that I want to change that we can't change is the seller's disclosure, because there are very few words in there. It's, do you have flood insurance versus do you live in a floodplain, or would you have to have flood insurance? So if you don't have a mortgage, you don't have to have flood insurance. So a lot of people mark no, house is paid, mortgage is paid off. So people assume it's not in a flood zone. So you kind of got to go that extra mile and check that.
Great piece of wisdom coming from an experienced agent right there. Yes. What's one lesson you had to learn the hard way?
Oh boy. It's tough to trust people that you just meet, at an open house or walks into the office. You have to learn how to read people, because you just don't know what everyone's, true motivation is for why they want to potentially sell.
Ooh, is there a story behind this?
I don't know how much I can divulge legally.
That's fair.
Legally.
But, had one where I thought the sellers were motivated to sell, and they were telling me they were doing this, and this. And, eventually the house ended up in foreclosure. So I spent money, advertising, staging, when I think their entire time was just to let it go back to the bank.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a tough lesson learned to know where your money is going and how beneficial it's going to be, to have that client. Not every client's a good client. So learning to pick the right ones.
Yes. Very good point. If you could sit down with a brand new REMAX agent over coffee, what's one piece of advice you hope they would remember years from now?
It won't be coffee, because I don't drink coffee.
What?
I know.
What?
It was
you drinking water?
It was all water this morning. Maybe some liquid IV.
Okay.
But pretty much no coffee. So it's kind of I don't want to say it's my thing, but no coffee. So it'd probably be just good breakfast.
I'm like 3 coffees deep right now. I'm not sure I would be functional. Yes.
So just to be genuine, I think clients can really tell when you're not true to yourself, you're trying to be salesy, when you're just trying to make that sale, versus guiding them and making them, not make them make the right decision, but help them go that way.
Use the knowledge that you've acquired to help them get to the best outcome.
Correct.
Absolutely. What still motivates you after all these years in the business?
I don't want to do anything else.
That's such a good answer.
I don't think I could go back to a 9 to 5. I'm on my phone too much. I think they would fire me from being on my phone unless it required me to. But I still enjoy it. Every day is different. When I wake up and my wife asks, what's on your docket for today? I'm like, well, I have these few things, but whatever today brings. It could be a deal that's fallen apart and I got to go save it. It might be a brand new listing that I got to go show to get my buyer in there first. That's kind of previous jobs I've had where I had to sit at the desk for 8 hours a day. I hated it. I wanted to have to be out and doing different stuff, meeting different people. So that kind of not going back to a 9 to 5 with HR is what motivates me.
It's a strong motivation.
Yeah.
It is.
You just got to put your Superman cape on every day and say, bring it.
Yeah.
So let's finish with a few quick ones, if you will. Are you a early morning person or a night owl?
It's surprisingly, I'm a morning person, even though I don't drink coffee.
I'm kind of not surprised, though. Like, you can hold down the fort at evening parties, if you will.
I could,
But I always see you come first in the door for that first session in the morning.
Yes.
Yeah. So respect that.
Everyone in the office has, I know this is not a quick answer anymore. Everyone has their time that they're in the office. You got some people that, they got some morning appointments and they're in there from, noon to 3. I'm in there, if I'm going in the office, so I'm there at 8 o'clock, 8:30, and I'll be there till noon, go do lunch somewhere, and then, whether I have show-ins or other appointments, so I get my best 4 hours when I'm in the office, and not a lot of people are there.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's one app that you use every day?
Non-real estate app I'm going to go is ESPN app.
Mr. Sports.
Yep.
Sports, it's, the 4 Detroit teams. Right now it's the World Cup. So very excited for that. Spoiler alert, the U.S. doesn't win. And then tennis, my wife's gotten into golf on the weekends. So always in the know-how.
All right. What is the best advice you've ever received? And from who?
Ooh. There used to be an agent in our office. Dave Miller sadly passed, but whenever I dress up and wear a tie and a jacket, fresh new agent, he's like, "Where's the job interview today?" And the Dave that I knew wore jeans and a collared shirt and a polo, untucked, his boat shoes, and Dave was just Dave. That's just kind of what I learned from him. That was just be yourself. You don't have to always wear ties, and my wife's surprised I didn't wear golf shorts and a polo here today, but I figured I'd dress it up a little bit.
Oh, thank you. What is one thing that people are surprised to learn about Jeff Coates?
So I have a kind of a closet niche hobby. So I am a big disc golfer. So I got started early 2000s. My older brother played, so I follow it on a very weekly basis. I don't play as much as I used to. I probably play more, call it ball golf now, ball golf and disc golf. But I follow. My friend built a fantasy website, so each weekend we have fantasy teams and
for disc golf.
For disc golf.
Oh, I did not know.
I mean, I consider myself a little too dorky for the healthy world. I didn't even know you could follow professional disc golf.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
This is
And the players.
This is like when I discovered pickleball was the thing. It's like this underground situation that's evolving, and now we have disc golf.
There's a professional tour. Okay. They're just getting back from.
You're adding so much to my life.
They're getting back from 5 weeks in Europe, actually.
Okay.
They're actually going to be in Michigan for the World Championship in August.
You going to be there?
I will be there for a couple of days. So Michigan has a big tie to disc golf. There's one of the leading actually, there's a couple manufacturers of discs in Michigan. So I've, disc golf has not had a great reputation for, the people that played disc golf were very hippies and did various things that were at one time illegal in Michigan. Sometimes not anymore, but so that's kind of my, one of those little niche groups I have of, this disc golf group. Yes. Thankfully, I'm the only realtor in that disc golf group too.
Yeah.
So,
lead source.
source. Sponsor tournaments locally. So it's kind of my, I go out, Midland has a course that's been around for a long time. So I'll go out there on a weekend at 8 a.m. and I'll be the only person out there and be just perfectly content.
Love that.
So
the more you know. What is your favorite REMAX of Michigan event?
My favorite fun event is going to be the golf outing.
Okay.
And my favorite learn event, I'm not sucking up, but is the tech tour.
Oh, my heart.
You bring a lot of knowledge to it, but also Midland hosts one, and we probably have 5 or 6 different offices that send people just based on our geographical location, that's the closest one. So it's always nice to meet new agents and also see, familiar ones that you maybe haven't done a deal with in a couple of years. So the tech tour is something that I always look forward to. Plus it's only 3 or 4 hours, and that can keep my attention. And the H has a good breakfast.
Sure does. It's a great stop. It's a great stop.
Yes. If you weren't in real estate, what would you be doing?
The practical answer, the more realistic answer, probably getting back into project management. That's what I was in before. I was a project manager for a local manufacturer. So budgeted balances, traveled around the states, had contracts. So very real estate adjacent in terms. So I'd probably getting back into that somehow. Going through college. So I have an architecture degree. My dream job was be a stadium designer. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff. Well, is there any last words that you'd like to leave our listeners with today, or?
My last words would be just to enjoy the REMAX brand. There's a lot there that you can take in. Great technology. Don't try to use it all. Find one that you can be proficient at and really use in your daily business. But just have fun. I mean, that's why you chose this. It's not to make money. It's to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Enjoy the ride.
I will say we didn't get into that, but I think when I joined REMAX, you were with REMAX before I was. When I joined REMAX and I was starting to get to know the agents, you were interested in everything we had. But I really appreciated your approach to, I want to know what's there. I want to know how it can apply. And then this is how I do my business. I'm going to be select with what I incorporate and what I do. And I wish all of our agents would take that kind of approach to it, because I think many of them, there's so much, it's overwhelming. Understand it. And you don't have to love technology and eat it for breakfast to know that can help grow your business if you use it in the way that your business works and runs. So kudos to you on that.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Jeff, for being with us today and sharing your wealth of knowledge, your experiences. And I think this whole conversation has really shown you are here truly to serve your realtors, your clients, and everybody around you. You're here to have fun while doing it. And the passion that you have shared today, I think, will emulate to the audience. So thank you.
Well, thank you for having me both.
Yes. And thank you, listeners, for tuning in to another episode of Recharge. If you've enjoyed today's episode, be sure to like, subscribe, and follow all of the REMAX of Michigan channels. And remember, success in this business isn't just about transactions. It's about the relationships we build, the communities we serve, and the impact we have along the way. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Recharge, and we'll see you next time.